Welcome to the Man of Recaps. It's The Walking Dead Season 5. The group is trapped at Terminus, but first we get a flashback to see what happened at Terminus. They were trapped in their own cars because these other bad guys came in and raped them all and stuff, so that's why they decided they would never trust outsiders again. So back in the present, our group's ready to fight with whatever makeshift weapons they can get. Of course they fail though. Now I'm getting kind of a cannibal vibe from this Terminus place. Oh yeah, definitely cannibals. Their leader is this huge frat boy douchebag Gareth, and right when they're about to slaughter Glenn, oh, there's noise outside. What's this? Oh, an explosion! It's rocking the world. What's happening? Well, Carol and Tyrese were still outside on the way there when they find this Terminus guy who talks pretty specifically about how they're going to eat Rick and friends. There's a convenient zombie horde nearby and a conveniently placed propane tank and some fireworks for Carol to explode a hole in the fence, so that's pretty cool. All the zombies make it in now. Rick uses the confusion to use his sharp stick to stab the guy, and our whole gang makes it out of Terminus unscathed, and as they tend to do, they leave the place a smoking ruin. Carol meets back up with the gang. Rick's like, thanks for saving us. I'm sorry I exiled you for whatever that was. Also, here's your baby. Congrats. It's probably Shane's, but it's still cool. The gang is on the road again. The first thing they do is find this pastor. He's like, hey, I'm a pastor. I've been living in this church. It's pretty much unscathed. We had a can drive, so I had lots of food, but now it's all gone. We've got to go to the food bank down in the city. So it's like, okay, let's go down there. The basement's all flooded with zombies, but they go in, they kill some zombies. This one guy, Bob, he gets pulled down. Luckily, he's not bit, or so he says. Anyway, they come out with a bunch of canned food, and they have an awesome canned food party, and Abraham is like, hey guys, remember I'm going to DC to bring the scientist here, Eugene, down, and we're going to cure the whole zombie apocalypse, save the world. And Rick's like, yeah, actually, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. Daryl and Carol are out scouting when a car drives by. It's got the cross in the back window. That's the same car that abducted Beth last season. Daryl's like, hey, Beth and I almost had a romance arc. I gotta go follow her. Meanwhile, Tyrese's sister Sasha and this guy Bob are having a romance thing, and he's outside crying though, and he's hit in the back of the head and kidnapped by the Terminus guys, and they're like, haha, we're gonna eat your leg right in front of you because we're sick. You taste so good. But he's like, ha, sucks for you, I'm bit, you're all poisoned now. It's like, wait, is that how that worked? We don't think it's how it works. It doesn't matter. The gang realizes they're missing Bob, Daryl, and Carol. Rick's like, yo, pastor, what's your secret? You behind this? He's like, no, my secret's I just let my congregation get eaten by zombies while I lock myself in here, so not that bad. Bob's dropped at their doorstep though. He's like, yeah, I was bit, and it's the Terminus guys, they ate my leg. Abraham's like, look, I'd love to stay and help you fight Terminus, but I can't put Eugene's life in danger because, if he dies, he's the only one that could save the world. But Glenn's like, hey, if you stay one night, help us fight Terminus, me and Maggie will come with you on your mission tomorrow. So he's like, okay, fine, deal. So the gang goes out to fight Terminus. Of course, Terminus was hiding right outside, so they get in the church, they're gonna eat the leftovers, but Rick's like, ha, we're smart too, we're hiding in the shadows, and he takes them, and he ends Terminus pretty quickly right there. So Abraham goes off on his DC mission. Rick's gonna stay behind and wait for Daryl and Carol, so it's like, okay, maybe we'll see you later one day. Glenn and Maggie do go with them though, so that's cool, and take a school bus, they're off. Now, where is Beth? Well, she wakes up in a hospital with an actual doctor and an actual police officer. She's like, thanks for saving me, I guess. They're like, yeah, but healthcare ain't cheap, baby. You gotta work off your debt. She's like, okay, whatever, I'll be a nurse for a little while. But this other nurse, they bring her in because she was escaping. She's like, I'd rather be eaten by zombies than stay here. And she's like, oh, that's weird. She soon finds out why. The cops are in charge, and they sexually harass and rape all the nurses sometimes. She talks to the policewoman in charge, who's like, sorry, we all have to make sacrifices for the greater good. So Beth befriends the laundry boy, who's like, yeah, you're right, this place sucks, let's get out of here. So Beth sneaks into the office and gets the key, but this other nurse there, and she killed herself, and just then the police officer comes in and is like, hey, sex right now or I'm gonna get you in a lot of trouble. But then she wakes up as a zombie, so Beth hits him over the head and feeds him to the zombie, and these two sneak out through the elevator shaft. I don't know why they didn't just take the stairs or what the key was for, but anyway, they make it outside where there are lots of zombies, and Beth does get caught by the cops, but laundry boy makes it away. Back inside, Beth is there, but then she sees Carol, who's brought in. What's going on here? How'd this happen? Well, the DC gang runs into some hiccups almost immediately, and it's like, well, we've only driven about a mile, let's just go back to the church. But Abraham's like, no, this is an important mission, we press on. So they find a fire truck, and they use the hose to blast a bunch of zombies, which works pretty well. But the fire truck breaks down, and they're gonna go on foot, but it's full of zombies, and Abraham's like, whatever, we gotta keep going. But it's like, you can't. And then Eugene admits, I'm not a scientist. And they're like, wait, say what? He's like, yeah, I'm just a nerd, and when I saw this big beefhead guy, I used a lot of big words to make him think I was a scientist so he would be my bodyguard. So Abraham punches him in the face and almost kills him with one hit. And then he's super depressed because we got his story to where he had a family, but they were scared of the things he had to do to survive, so they ran away from him. And when he finds them dead, he's gonna kill himself, but he finds Eugene and gave him a reason to live. Back to Daryl and Carol, hot on Beth's trail. The car they're following leads them into Atlanta, but their own car breaks down, so they lose it. The next day they go up and they find this van that's got the crosses on it, so they go check it out, and they realize, oh, this van probably came from the hospital. Unfortunately, lots of zombies come in, so they strap themselves on and go for a nice little ride. They walk it off though, they're fine. They run into Laundry Boy, who's gonna rob them. Then it's like, wait, you know Beth? Yeah, and just then a hospital car comes by, and they're gonna find it, but then Carol gets hit by it, and it's like, wait, no, they can fix her, let her take her in, so they let them do that, we'll get her later. They go grab the rest of the group to make a plan to rescue Beth and Carol. They're gonna use Laundry Boy as a distraction, so they can kidnap some cops, make a trade. This cop's name is Bob though, which was Sasha's dead boyfriend's name, so she trusts him, but then he tries to escape, and Rick has to go chase him down and shoot him in the head. That was what he gets. Anyway, they got two more cops, and it's like, yeah, you down for this trade? And they're like, yeah, we're down for this trade. So they're making the trade. Everything goes smoothly at first, but then head cop's like, hey, I want my Laundry Boy back. And Rick's like, no, you can't have him. But he's like, yo, it's fine. I don't mind laundry that much anyway. But then Beth's like, yo, I'm gonna stab you for that. Oh, and I shot you in the head. What, Beth? Oh no, it was an accident. And then Daryl's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you in the head. And then they're like, okay, no more shooting in the head. Let's just all walk away. So Beth is dead, and it's super sad because Daryl almost had a hot girlfriend. Her sister Maggie's there too with the rest of the gang. See, the priest went on a walk one day and like accidentally led all the zombies back to the church, so they had to lock him in. And he's like, oh man, I'm dumb. And then the DC crew came back with the fire truck. It's like, yeah, he's not a scientist. We're not saving the world. Let's all just meet up. So where are they going to go now? DC was a bust. The church is gone. It's like, well, the Laundry Boy said he's got a nice neighborhood over in Virginia, so they go there. Unfortunately, it is overrun with zombies. They go to Laundry Boy's house where he meets his mom, who's dead, and Tyrese finds his younger brother who bites him, and he's like, oh man, I'm bleeding out. So they have to amputate his arm, but it's sort of too late. He dies. Bye, Tyrese. You had a good run. So now our group is without cars, running low on food and water, walking the earth without purpose or direction, with very little hope of survival. And the imagery of this shot reflects the duality of the title Walking Dead, referring not only to the reanimated zombie corpses, but to the surviving humans themselves. And in case you missed that, Rick says it literally a few scenes later. They are, in fact, dying of thirst when they come across these bottles of water left in the middle of the road with a note that says from a friend. It's like, don't drink that, dummy. It's definitely a trap. But then they find this Justin Timberlake looking nerd, and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm a friend. I left you the water. I've got a really nice neighborhood back there that you guys can all come join. And Rick's like, yeah, no offense. The last people we did that tried to eat us. I don't trust you. But Michonne's like, hey, we may as well check it out. So they go find his RV nearby, and they all drive off to his thing. They do end up with some zombie trouble, by the way. They gotta like shoot them in the head with some flares. It's pretty cool. And then they find his partner who is nearby, and it's like his partner. And Rick's like, oh, you guys are gay? Oh, I trust you then. You know, gay people are trustworthy. So he brings him to his neighborhood, Alexandria, and it's got great walls, and it's a real nice place. And this is their leader, Deanna. She's like, hey, what's up? I used to be a senator. This place was built as like a self-sustaining community, so we still have like power and running water, all that good stuff. And Rick's like, you know what? That sounds good. I'm in. It's like, hey, we also got a ton of houses. You can take anyone you want. But the group's used to staying together, so they all stay in the same one for now. Anyway, it does have running water, so Rick takes a shower and is like, it's time to shave my Robin Williams Jumanji beard. Wow, look how clean shaven he is. So he comes out looking all sexy just in time to meet the hot neighbor next door. So the group's checking out the neighborhood. Seems pretty nice. Carl meets some friends his own age, including this one who's a hot girl that came in from the outside too. And one day he sees her like sneaking over the wall. He follows her out there and she's like, yeah, it's just, you know, hard living a civilized life. I like being out here with the zombies. And they hide in the zombie tree and it's like, oh, you know what? It's definitely on. So they make Rick a sheriff, obviously, and Michonne gets to be his deputy. And Rick's like, yeah, it turns out this place isn't a trap. These people are just super soft and weak because they've been protected the whole time. If we don't like how they're doing things, we'll just take this place for ourselves. So to that end, they have a secret meeting outside. See, they had to give up all their guns while they're inside the walls, but they're protected by like this chick, and they're like barely locked up at all. So Carol's pretending to be super nice, and she's like, yeah, I could just walk in there one day and like leave the window open. So they do that. They steal some guns, and they find the zombie outside, by the way, with a W in its forehead. What's that about? Later, they have a fancy welcome party where Rick's new crush turns out has a husband. That's too bad, but she and Rick definitely have some sexual tension. They also meet Deanna's husband, who's the architect that built the walls, and Laundry Boy is going to become an architect too. But first, they have to go on a run to get some more like power supplies or something. This is Deanna's son. He's like this douchebag, and he's in charge of runs. So they go out there and they find the power supplies or whatever. But then he finds this like zombie who's got like this grenade on it. It's like, wait, no, he shoots. Oh, boom, and he ends up impaled on this thing. And this girl Tara gets hit too. So Eugene has to save her. And then it's like, okay, man, we're gonna get you out of here. Oh no, it's not gonna happen. Sorry, zombies got you. So he dies a horrible death. And these guys end up trapped in the rotating door. Eugene comes by with the truck and he leads the zombies outside. He lures them away. And it's like, okay, man, hold the door. I'm gonna break the glass. But then this douchebag is like, yo, I'm gonna save myself. Sorry. Oh, and he squeezes out of there, which opens the other side. And Laundry Boy gets pulled up and he gets torn to pieces right in front of Glenn. So Glenn comes up and he beats him. He's like, man, you're a terrible person. Like, I hate you now. So this is Rick's crush's son, and he lets it slip that his dad like beats his mom. So Carol tells Rick, and Rick goes and tells Deanna, who's sad about her son being dead, by the way, and doesn't trust Rick because this guy told the wrong story of how things went down. And she's like, what are you gonna do? We don't have jails anyway. He's like, I'm gonna shoot him in the head. And she's like, no, you can't just shoot people in the head. But he goes to see his lady. He's like, hey, obviously you and I should be together. If you need help breaking up with your husband, just give me the word, I'll do it. So she's like, yeah, do it. So he comes in and like he and Rick have a fight, which spills out onto the street. And Rick's about to just like choke him out right there in front of everyone. And Deanna's like, hey, you can't just kill people. And he's like, you know what? I got a gun. I'm in charge here. And he gives an impassioned speech about how they're all too soft and they need to man up, but he's scaring people, so Michonne takes him out. Elsewhere, it's Morgan. That's Rick's friend from the very beginning of season 1, and also again in season 3 where he had lost his mind, and he's being held up in the woods by the guy with the W, says it stands for the wolf pack, and when they're trying to rob him, he like has these bow staff skills now, and he beats them all up. Nerdy Justin Timberlake's got a motorcycle in his garage, so Daryl fixes it up. These two are going out on the road to look for more survivors. They find these trucks full of food, which is awesome, but surprise, it's full of zombies. Yes, it's a trap, and it's the wolf pack thing going on, so they're hiding in this car, and luckily Morgan's there. He busts them out, they manage to escape. He's like, hey, I'm looking for my friend Rick, you seen him? So Rick's been put in timeout, and Deanna's holding a vote tonight to see if they're going to kick Rick out of the neighborhood. Rick's like, we'll play nice for now, but if they try to kick me out, we'll just kill them all. Meanwhile, the priest is coming back from another walk, and it's like, hey man, close that gate behind you, but he's like, no, I'm not going to close it because I'm in the middle of an existential crisis. He should really not be allowed on walks anymore. Anyway, Rick finds the open gate, and he like tracks down the zombies, and so they're holding the town meeting, and it's like, well, Rick's not here, I guess we'll just start without him. So all of his friends are like, yeah, Rick's a really good guy, we should let him stay, but Deanna's like, you know, I don't trust him, I think we should kick him out. But then Rick comes back, he's like, hey, sorry I missed the meeting, like I was single-handedly saving the town, you guys need me because you can't even close the gate. And just then the husband comes back, and he's got the sword, and he accidentally kills Deanna's husband, and she's like, oh my god, Rick, you have my permission to shoot him in the head now. And Rick's like, with pleasure, boom, takes him out, and just then Morgan comes back, it's like, oh hey man, and that's how season 5 comes to an end.